Welcome to the Multiplayer Podcast. You might be thinking, hey, this seems interesting. I wonder what the Multiplayer Podcast is all about. Well, it's the newest, sleekest, funniest, goodest gaming podcast. Each week, we break down a different multiplayer game, talk a little bit about our week, and just goof around. This week, we're doing something unprecedented. For our first time ever, it's a doubleheader, double feature, tag team episode with the classics Overcooked 2 and Keep Talking and No One Explodes. Both games are high tension, precisioned, chaotic, and extremely fun. I'm your host, Todd, and as always, we're joined by the best cook/bomb tech, Paul.
Dash, dot, 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 dash.
And Chaos himself, Josh.
Yes, I love that title. That's great, Todd. Hello, everybody. Yes. I was upset about Paul being named the best bomb person, and then you came in with something even stronger, Todd, so well done.
Yeah. Before we talk about these games, I just want to say some words. Award-winning, talented, very good-looking. These are all words, some you could use to describe us while reviewing our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Now with that out of the way, how are you guys doing?
I'm even better now that I've been dubbed Chaos. Thank you. I'm going to make my wife call me that for the rest of the week.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Chaos is my middle name.
Yeah, Josh is definitely the wild card of the bunch. I think that's definitely fair. So now that we're a couple of weeks into this quarantine, how are you guys holding up?
I have gaming ADD.
Yeah.
I've been bouncing around to every different game, from RTSs to first-person shooters to Rocket League, back to RTSs, and then playing Kerbal.
Oh, wow.
I've heard that game's really good, and I've never played it. That's definitely a game I need to check out.
It's one of those games that has no instructions, and then you'll be 2 hours into YouTube tutorials and loving every second of it. I don't know if that made sense, but that's how it is. You get in there, you build a rocket, it explodes. You build the second rocket, it explodes. You get frustrated, you uninstall, you reinstall it 6 months later, and then you're like, maybe I should look up how to actually play this game. And then it's just a bunch of YouTube tutorials of mathematicians breaking down how to reach escape velocity and hit the perfect orbit.
So cheating.
No, it's you have to study and pass a few tests.
When I was a kid and we wanted to cheat in a game, we had to call an 800 number and pay money to do that.
Back in
my day, when we wanted to cheat, we had to pay money to do it.
Or there's those books you'd buy from the store. I had one for James Bond 007.
Oh, for GoldenEye?
It's great. Yeah.
I never spent money on any guides ever. The only time I ever used them was GameFAQ.com and stuff later once they were for free on the internet.
I still remember to this day playing Phantasy Star for the original Sega Genesis and being stuck on that game and begging my parents to let me call the 800 number so that I could get a hint on how to find this underground dungeon that I had to find to progress in the game, and I had been stuck for a week. And I begged my parents, I saved up my allowance, they let me call, and it was the most impossible thing ever. I never would have found this if I had not called this 800 number. And the guy was just okay, go 13 squares to the left, now go 4 down, go 5 to the right, go 7 up, and then press dig. And then there was the dungeon, and that was it. But that was way back in the day.
That's hilarious.
I feel like a lot of those games intentionally made it so you couldn't beat the game unless you used the guides. I always loved the Monkey Island games back in the day, and I know that those were also popular where people would use guides. Well, I mean, for me and my family lately, I have some younger boys, and they have been forcing me to play Totally Reliable Delivery Service. Have you gues heard of this game?
I saw the game on Steam the other day.
So
I didn't look into it because it sounded dumb, but
it's It's human fall flat, only the physics are way worse, and they throw in a bunch of ridiculous vehicles. And since I've never played it, like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And my 10-year-old is just like, hey, come jump in this helicopter with me. And then we'd fly high in the air, and then he would just push me out of it. And then my character would poop his pants. And then he'd have like a poop stain on his shorts. And then my son would just follow, cackling, laughing the whole time. So that's how my gaming week's been going.
I really want to play this game now. Downloading.
It's it's not that great.
Yeah, I'm with Todd. I've been getting the game ADD. I've been searching through the Steam store nonstop, trying to find something. I reinstalled Witcher 3 a couple days ago. That is, you guys know that's my favorite game ever. And then I dove back into that for a couple days, and then I think the magnitude of the game kind of took place, and I went, I'm not really ready to sink 100 hours into this game again. Yeah.
What happened to Doom?
Oh, I beat that.
Oh, you're through Doom?
Oh, yeah, I beat that. I played that game solid for a week and a half.
Guess what game I'm still getting dozens of hours out of? Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah, okay. So for the record, so for everybody that's been listening, because they've been following along on our Animal Crossing shenanigans, my wife loves this game now. She is all about her house. She called me in the room the other day and told me to look at her house, and it looks like Easter exploded inside her house. It is the most Eastery pastel house ever. But she's loving it, so thank you for that. I owe you an apology, Paul.
Oh, it's such a fun game, and referencing the same 10-year-old as earlier who loved the pooping the pants, in Animal Crossing, his house is nothing but tiled walls, a toilet, and a mirror. So he literally made his house just a bathroom and thought this was hysterical. So, that's what we're dealing with in our household.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. So I've been playing Rocket League still, but Rocket League got way better, guys.
Oh, it did.
Rocket League just introduced Spike Ball.
Spike Rush.
Spike Rush.
Yes.
My bad.
Get it right,
My
You're
bad.
professional
I guess
now.
the ball isn't spikes, the car is spikes, and you're rushing toward it.
Correct.
So it's Rocket League, except when you hit the ball sticks to your car, and then you can just do flips, and then the ball stays stuck to your car. So, like, if you do a flip forward and the ball's stuck to the front, you just go launching really high. Like, you catapult yourself into the air. And it is the goofiest, funniest, like, intense game mode on Rocket League right now.
We played for hours and hours last night, and we giggled like little children for most of the night on that. Well, it is super fun.
The next morning, my wife was like, what were you guys playing last night? Because you were just laughing the entire time. And it's like, they introduced a new game, and it's just goofy.
It is a lot of fun. We've lost Paul already. I see poor Paul's face has just gone from happy to sad.
Yeah, well, while you guys are laughing it up, I'm just like single crocodile tear eating my corn nuts, watching Tiger King on Netflix.
Oh, Tiger King. Yes.
Man, when's the game coming out for that? That's what I want to know.
We will review that right away. That's a promise to the fans.
All right. So this week, we're doing 2 games, so I think we need to get started.
Let's do it.
So here's the review that no one asked for. Let's get started with Overcooked, and then we can switch to Keep Talking and No One Explodes. Let me read a quick summary from the publisher, and then we'll get started. Overcooked returns with a brand new helping of chaotic cooking action. Journey back to the Onion Kingdom and assemble your team of chefs in classic couch co-op or online play up to 4 players. Hold on to your aprons. It's time to save the world. Again.
Overcooked 2. What a game. What a game that I don't like very much. Oh, wait, was that a spoiler? Should I have not said that so early in the show?
No,
Sorry.
You're good. All right. So, I mean, I have a lot of probably the most hours out of this group in between Overcooked 1 and 2. Paul, do you want to explain what the game is and like what the mechanics are, like a little bit about what you're doing?
Sure. Yeah, it's a pretty simplistic idea of a game. You know, you can have up to 4 players playing at once, and basically you are all chefs in a kitchen, and orders will come across the top. You have to take a look, see what people need, and then you and your partner have to coordinate and run around and prepare these dishes. And so in the game, it starts out relatively simple, where you are chopping fish and you're cooking rice and you're serving sushi rolls. Later in the game, you are making hamburgers or cakes, whatever it might be. And basically, as these orders are coming in, you have to make them fast enough in order to make more points before the customers get angry and they leave. And so it sounds very simplistic, but what actually happens when you play the game is that you very quickly get overrun by a ton of orders. You end up with items burning in the kitchen. Now your kitchen's on fire. The game will throw these crazy mechanics of conveyor belts and hot air balloons and rafts and all these things where you get separated from one another. And so it requires a lot of high precision communication and coordination in order to cook these dishes and get them served.
This game's stressful.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fun game. I love hard games. I'm down for, a really good challenge. The controls in the scheme, like you said, are very simplistic. Where the game really gets difficult is on the different stages. It's the stages that kind of make the game, in my opinion. Like, yes, there's different recipes that you have to know. One stage you might make burgers, one stage you might make pizzas, and then they mix it up and you've got to make a cake later on and stuff like that. But it's the stages. I mean, some of them there's a big chasm. In the middle you can fall down, or there's conveyor belts that's really hard to walk the wrong direction on. Then they get into like magic portals and river rafts and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of the challenge comes from. If it was just keeping up with orders, I don't think it would be hard at all. But I also think it would be a lot more boring at that point too. So, but yeah, the levels, man, some of them, I mean, we were playing the other day, Paul, and I was just like, I don't like this level. I don't like this level at all. This level sucks. And I was dying, over and over, falling through the pit or messing up orders.
Well, and the game gets worse. Like, Paul and I beat the game pretty quickly with 2 people when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then having Josh be in the game with us, like, he was new, but like, he knows how to play video games. Like, he was doing good, but it was just so chaotic. Like, I couldn't figure out who was trying to do what and who was going where, and like when we needed to do like each thing, and then all of a sudden like half of our air balloon would be on fire, and then we're just like, all right, Josh, just put out the fire and clean dishes.
Yeah.
That's all we need you to do right now.
We really did delegate Josh to the busy work in the kitchen pretty quickly.
You misserve a couple meals, you mess up the recipe a couple times, and then this is what I get Josh go do dishes.
Well, it was funny. We'd be like, Josh, like, can you chop some cucumbers for us? And then we'd like go do a couple things and then come back. And then there's like 50 chopped cucumbers.
Yeah, thank you. I am an excellent cucumber chopper.
Too many chopped
There's
cucumbers.
no such thing as too many chopped cucumbers.
No, there can be, because Josh put cucumbers on every plate, but now there's orders that don't need cucumbers. So then Todd and I are like, oh man, so now we have to like dump these plates in the garbage and restart orders.
When you had an order that needed cucumbers, were there not cucumbers available? Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about the prep work.
And to put a little historic context on this, I know that Todd and I played this game right at release, like he mentioned. Did you and I play Overcooked 1 together, Todd? Or did I play that on my own? I don't remember.
I don't think we played it together. I think we talked about trying to, but I don't think we actually did.
Yeah, I think you
maybe
and your
once
wife,
at your house, but it wasn't often.
Yeah, I remember playing a lot with my wife, and I thought maybe you and your wife had played it. And I thought that one of the things that we could talk about is like what changed from Overcooked 1 to Overcooked 2, because I think if you spent a lot of time playing Overcooked 1, there was a lot of overlap trying to jump into Overcooked 2, because for by and large it was really the same game as before. The one big thing that they added was the element of tossing food,
which is awesome.
It's interesting.
And it's hilarious because if you're good at it, you can toss something to like an area you can't actually run to. But if you're bad at it, you're just throwing food all over the kitchen.
Yes. So if you have to like grill a burger, which by the way, Josh and I discovered that we crushed every burger level like it was nothing.
I love me some burgers.
For whatever reason, we were saying we needed to open a burger place. But yeah, so if you chop up the meat in Overcooked 1, you'd always have to carry the meat over to the pan and put it on there to start cooking. In Overcooked 2, you can actually hold a button and then toss the burgers. So if you angle it right, you can actually throw them onto the pan from 20 feet away. You can also throw food between people, although the game doesn't let you throw everything. So you can't throw plates or different pieces of cooking equipment, but the raw food you can actually throw back and forth, which is kind of interesting.
Just like any normal restaurant.
Yeah. Here's a head of lettuce. Go long.
Yeah, one of those Italian places, you're throwing the pizza dough across the restaurant, and it's fancy. The patrons love it. Like, everyone loves that. It's a dinner and a show at that point.
It's like a teppanyaki place, is that what you're saying? But with pizza dough?
Is that where you catch a pizza in your mouth?
Yes.
Right? So you just throw the pizza up in the air and you catch it? Is that... Paul said teppanyaki so well. I was really impressed by that, to be honest. That's the only thing that was going through my mind was, wow, Paul really said teppanyaki well there.
I love teppanyaki. What can I say? Yeah, you can make a little pizza dough volcano, light it on fire, right? One of those places.
Gross. Exactly right.
All right, I need to apologize for something in Overcooked 2.
Is it for yelling at us?
It's for yelling at you guys. And then it was there was times that I try to be mature most of the time, but I would get petty, and if Josh ruined like one of the dishes, I would just start taking like rice and just throwing it everywhere. Just like in this game, you can throw it into someone's hands, so that if someone was running by me, I would just throw rice into their hands and then just keep on chucking rice at them, and. Was that the most mature thing? Probably not. Did I feel like that was the right thing to do in the moment? Absolutely.
Everyone hits that. There were times that I'd grab the fire extinguisher and just spin in a circle with it running. I mean, sometimes the game can be very frustrating and you just have to take it out on your teammates. You gotta put on your Gordon Ramsay every once in a while.
Yeah, that's honestly part of the fun of this game is when you're working as a team and things are going well, like, yes, you're accomplishing what you want to accomplish, but with, Todd doing that or, knocking, you can kind of bump into each other and it will slightly bump the character. So if you can like dash into the other guy and knock them off the ledge or the bridge, that part's pretty fun too. I remember Todd just throwing rice at everybody. I think I chased you around, Paul, with the fire extinguisher, just spraying you nonstop for like 30 seconds straight. But that's, you got to have some fun. This game, I'm not a huge fan of the game, but it does have some high points. But if all you're doing is trying to 3-star every level and you're not goofing off, then I think it just gets kind of boring pretty fast.
Well, and Todd is a huge stickler for the 3 stars.
Oh, the 3 stars, dude.
Todd will not let you advance. So Josh and I are like, we're done. Next level.
Yeah, confession time. When Paul and I played the other day, we just was like, yeah, we got 1 star. We're good. Let's see what's next.
What?
Yeah, we left a lot of levels, 1 and 2 stars.
Every level.
So Todd and I 3-starred everything when we played. But yeah, when it was me and Josh, when Todd wasn't on, we were just trying to get through it as quick as we could. I was feeling very overcooked out. Like, we played a lot in a course of like 2 days. I think at one point, Josh, you and I got on in the mid-morning, and we played for like 2 or 3 hours straight. It was a lot.
No way, Paul. I work during the day. I would never play video games mid-morning.
Maybe you had that day off. I don't know.
It was a Saturday, if I remember correctly.
That's it.
It was definitely a Saturday.
Yes. We did. We played a good bit. I was fairly new to this game. I had bought this game a long, long time ago for the Nintendo Switch because I thought it would be fun to play with my family. We played 2 matches, and they quit. They were like, I hate this game. It's way too stressful. Not ever touching it again. And that was it. And then I didn't touch it for like a year until, you guys said, hey, let's play some Overcooked 2.
This isn't a family-friendly game. And that's not because, explicit content in the game, but because it will make your family fight.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. So if you want to test your relationships, this is a good game for that.
Well, and Overcooked seems to bring something out of everybody where nobody ever takes responsibility for their own actions. No one's ever like, oh yeah, I totally just jumped off that ledge. It's, why did you push me off that ledge? Or, it's a lot of finger pointing, and it can get ugly very quickly.
So, changing a little bit, what do you guys think that this game could do better?
It needs some variation besides just the recipes and the levels. Like, I found this game to get very mundane very quickly. Like, the best analogy I can give is it reminds me of, like, a game in Mario Party. Like one of those little mini games where, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, there's not a lot of depth to this at all. It's a very, very simple game. I know they try to throw a lot of stuff at you by changing up the levels, but there's only so many pits or fires or something they can do. I don't know. Like, that's my complaint. Like, so something better would be more game dynamics or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, it's like all platformers hit that wall where it's like you can only run sideways so long and jump on, enemies' heads. And then you have to figure out, like, all right, here's a rope swing, here's a bridge. Oh, you have to do this one thing, and then, like, you can fly a little bit higher. And Overcooked doesn't really have that. Overcooked just has like a different recipe or a slightly different mechanic, which is built into the level, but then like you're not really doing anything different. You're just like waiting at different times.
Yeah, there's zero progression. The only progression is maybe a slightly harder recipe or a slightly harder level.
Yeah, if I had to do something to improve the game, I would have super complicated recipes with a ton of ingredients. And maybe that's just my inner chef coming out. Like, my number one hobby is to cook and to bake. And in this time of quarantine, actually, that's been a frustration because all of my local grocery stores have been out of flour, which is kind of cracking me up because, like, everyone's hoarding all this flour. And I'm like, what do you got? There's no way all of you are baking bread. Like, I actually do bake bread. I love it. So, I love cooking. And I would love if Overcooked just tossed out super complicated recipes with 18 different ingredients. Just let the game scale and get a lot harder, or maybe let there be mods where people could, create their own recipes, add extra ingredients. Because to me, the challenge is never the recipes. The recipes are always either, you chop whatever you need to do, you either throw it in a mixer or a steamer or an oven, and then you put it on a plate and you serve it. And at least for me, the challenge was always just in the level design, getting around whatever mechanic they throw at you. I would love to have super complicated recipes.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, that would definitely be interesting, where it's like way less dinners you have to turn in, but then like a lot more ingredients for it.
You guys would just yell at me the second I messed up the big complicated recipe, or dropped it on the floor or any of that.
Well, yeah, it would be like there's 20 ingredients, and then Josh puts carrots in the middle of it, and we're like, that's the one ingredient that's not in that cake, Josh. It's not a carrot cake.
Todd, I thought you forgot about the carrot cake. Okay.
That's funny, because I was the one yelling more about the carrot. Because Josh was yelling, yeah, there's a carrot cake in the order form. And I'm like, yeah, you stuck it in the cake mixer that has chocolate. You can't serve a chocolate carrot cake. So, yeah, that was a good laugh.
Man, I can't get out of my head Paul at the grocery store just walking up to someone saying, I know for a fact you don't bake. Like, give me that flour.
All I kept thinking was from The Office when Daryl says to Jim, "What you need to borrow flour for, Jim? You gonna bake some bread?" And that's what I wanted to say to everybody at the grocery store.
That's awesome. All right. Let's move on. We still have another game to cover. We said a little bit about what we think about Overcooked 2. Paul, do you want to cover thoughts from the community?
Sure. I grabbed a couple of reviews here from Steam, and I think you guys will see that we kind of touched on what these reviews like to say, because I feel like the high points and the pitfalls are a little bit obvious with this one. So, first review that I have here is a positive review, and they wrote, "If you have a girlfriend or boyfriend and you want to break up with them but don't know what to say, this game is perfect for you. 10 out of 10.
It's true. You will fight. You will start fighting with somebody, man. That's for sure. I mean, thankfully, we're good enough friends that we can yell at each other and not get upset. But I mean, there were times where I definitely messed up something, and then would hear from you two, or get on to Todd for throwing rice at everybody. But yeah, it's if you want to break up a relationship and not feel guilty about it, then buy this game.
And Paul said it earlier, it's always the other person's fault.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I never fall off the bridge by myself. Paul
Never.
pushes me every time.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. So the second review here is a negative review, and they wrote, "This game is the reason I'm dying 5 years younger than I planned." And I think that just speaks to the stress. This game, I don't know that anybody has the patience. Like, I consider myself a very patient and calm person for the most part. And even this game will get me, like, yelling out, "Someone turn off the rice, get me a plate." I don't know that anyone has the patience to just calmly, "Oh, Josh, you didn't need to put carrots in that. Can you go dump it out, please?"
Oh,
like,
I'm sorry, Paul. Did I do that?
No one can play Overcooked that way. So yeah, this one will definitely raise your blood pressure. Might take a couple years off your heart. All right, and then the last review that I have here is a positive review. "The top 3 phrases that you will say during this game: move out of my way, I need a freaking plate, somebody get the rice."
Heard that. Yep.
That's amazing.
That's very true.
7.5 out of 10, Gordon Ramsay. Yep.
Okay. Plates are their own thing in this game. There's never enough, and they're always dirty.
Yep.
Like, trying to find a clean plate is gold in this game.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, more than anything else, because the food will always be in the same location, but the plates will pop up, and then maybe someone moved them to the sink but didn't clean them. It's always such a hassle to try to find the plates. All right, and then we always love to guess what percentage of the reviews are positive on Steam. I wrote down my guess. What do you guys think? What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is in Steam?
82.
82?
Wow. I have a low opinion of this game. I was going to go in the 60s, but now Todd has me worried. So I'm going to go 74.
I mean, I could be way off.
I'm hoping, but...
Well, my guess was 93, because...
What?
I think this game is beloved. I think a lot of people love Overcooked.
What?
It's a pretty popular franchise.
Oh, man.
Now, that being said, Todd actually was a little bit closer than me. The actual is 87%.
Boom.
Todd was
Winner
off.
round 2.
Todd was off by 5. I was off by 6. Winner goes to Todd.
Yeah. All right, Todd, you can take that one.
Eat dirt, guys.
Yeah. If you're going to win a game, it's going to be Overcooked too.
All right. Since I won, let me introduce everyone to Make Love, Marry, or Murder. At this segment of the show, we talk about if we would like to make love, marry, or murder this game. I'm going to kick it off with, I don't know, murder. Just a casual...
just a casual murder.
Just a casual murder. I don't know. Like, I get it. I get why people love it. I get why it's fun. I would just rather play another game. If I want to play a stressful game, I'll play a different game. If I want to play a casual game, it's not this one. Like, the only way I would see myself playing this game in the future is if someone who doesn't normally play games wants to play a video game, and then like this could be something. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a good gateway into gaming if you've never
Yeah.
gamed before. I get it.
Really? This
All right,
game would
guys.
run me off of gaming. Because I'm going to murder it. Big shocker. I'm going to murder this because this game, it's fun for 10 minutes. Like, honestly, it's fun for about 10 minutes. It's the same mechanics through the whole game. I just don't enjoy it. I don't know why. I'm a little biased, and maybe it's just not up my alley, but I'm definitely murdering this game because I don't want to play it. It's kind of like Todd said. If I want to play a hard game, I'm going to go with something that's much more enjoyable, or gives me some kind of reward for, that work that you put into it. I don't like it. I don't want to play it. I'm going to kill it.
the reward is the 3rd star, Josh.
Yeah,
When you get that 3rd star and you know that you did a good day's worth of work.
Maybe you guys just yelled at me so much that it's like I've blocked out this game now. It's
That could be.
Where's the dishes, Josh? It's kind of like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Josh, put down the knife. Go clean the dishes.
Yeah, I don't want to play this anymore.
All right, Paul.
Wow. Todd, I am so shocked to hear this because I feel like you asked me to play Overcooked once every 2 to 3 months. Maybe this one just did you in. I think this game's unquestionably make love. It is a lot of fun early on. You can play with one friend or up to 3. It's fun with kids. It's fun with your wife. Yes, there's yelling, and it'll help you improve your communication skills. But there's a lot of short-term pleasure in this game. I think my thing is that since I played so much Overcooked 1, that I felt like that just was enough for me. And there was just that depreciation over time where even when they came out with Overcooked 2, it just felt like more of the same. It's nothing that I'm going to play long term. I'm not going to marry it. But you get enough short-term fun that I think it's absolutely make love.
Yeah. I get that. Like,
I don't get it.
the hours I have 9 hours on this game, and they were fun. But, murder.
Yeah, murder.
You guys ready for the double header?
Keep talking.
All right, guys. We covered Overcooked 2, and now let's talk about Keep Talking and No One Explodes. All right, from the publisher, you're alone in a room with the bomb. Your friends, the quote-unquote experts, have the manual needed to defuse it. But there's a catch. The expert can't see the bomb, so everyone will need to talk it out fast. Put your puzzle-solving and communication skills to the test as you and your friends race to defuse bombs while attempting to communicate quickly before time runs out.
That's a pretty good summary.
There's a theme to this podcast, and it's communication.
Yes. Both of these games rely 100% on communication.
I think with all these companies having remote employees, there's no really remote way to do a high ropes course. But you could play Overcooked or Keep Talking and No One Explodes to, get some team camaraderie going.
Yeah, this game, I like this game a heck of a lot more than the other one. I don't know if it's just that it's more like puzzle solving to me, which I enjoy. But to give a kind of top-down view of this game, so one person sees the bomb, and it's a 3D. They manipulate it on their computer screen. They turn it around. You can see it. The bomb has a lot of different stuff on it. And that person has to describe what they see to the other people that are playing, and the other people that are playing cannot see the bomb. So they don't have access to it. They can't see it. So they're only relying on the guy that's looking at the bomb to tell them what they see. And then the people that are not looking at the bomb have a bomb defusal manual that's like 23 pages long. This is no joke. This is a very complex manual, but it's broken up into different sections. And so those sections will give instructions to the person that is defusing the bomb on what to do to the bomb. So there's this great back and forth between the bomb guy trying to frantically describe everything that he sees and the people with the manuals, finding them first of all, and then pulling them, and then realizing that they need to ask questions to get more information from the bomb diffuser, who is scrambling, trying to answer like 3 different people at once. And it's just, I mean, you said it in the beginning, it's kind of like this controlled chaos, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, and the back and forth, like between the guy with the bomb and the other people with the manual, is so much fun. Like, when you're going through, like, there's something called, I think, simple wires, where it doesn't just say, like, oh, if they have these wires, cut the 4th one. It's like, are there 2 batteries on the bomb? Is the last serial number even? And then it's like, oh, like, you have to ask questions. All right, how many wires? Oh, do you have a yellow one? And I feel like instead of just giving, like, a flat-out answer, it makes you ask more questions, and then it's, like, putting the ownership back and forth between the 2 people until you figure out that little component and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, and one of the great things that this game does is it kind of gives you a guided tour, making the bombs progressively harder. So when you start out, they give you just the basics. You might open up a bomb, you might just have to resolve 3 different puzzles, and you have 6 minutes to do it. And so you can actually kind of take your time, and you go through, you ask the questions, you just do one module at a time. But then the game starts getting progressively harder, and so they start shortening the amount of time. Maybe if you make a single mistake, your bomb explodes. And next thing you know, you're yelling out instructions, and then while that person's looking up that puzzle, now you're talking to the other one, and you have to do a lot of multitasking. And even later in the game, they start adding some other mechanics that they're like needy modules. You have to continually go back and resolve them, maybe like once every 30 seconds or once a minute. And so the game is extraordinarily frantic while you're trying to defuse every single module before it explodes. And so there's definitely a lot of chaos, a lot of yelling, not yelling at people, but it's just like as the tensions rise, everyone just like really gets loud. And so it's incredibly fun, and there's no limit to how many people can play. I mean, I remember playing this game on a laptop in my kitchen, having 6 or 7 people over, and everyone just kind of takes a different module. You yell out instructions. You can play with 2 people all the way up to maybe 6 or 7. It probably is best 3 or 4, but it's a lot of fun working through these different puzzles, seeing how they get more difficult. And then as you do them over and over and over, you naturally get a lot better and a lot quicker at them.
Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve. It's you do, as you get familiar with some of the different modules that show up on the bomb, you start to know how to approach those. Whereas in the beginning, you're learning what you need to do, and you're reading the steps, and you're going kind of step by step through those, through the manuals. Whereas once you get kind of comfortable with them, you definitely develop a flow. And that's what's really cool is, I mean, the 3 of us, we're to the point now where it's like somebody spits something out, and then somebody, Todd may have the bomb, and he'll read out 4 symbols, and we instantly read back the solution, and he knows that's what we're doing. Whereas somebody that's new to it is going to take a lot more time to kind of accomplish that same thing. So you do kind of progress in your abilities in this game, and get more familiar with it. But what I love about it is, like, the other night we tried this one bomb like 15 to 20 times. And even though we knew how to do the modules, we ran out of time almost every single time because we just didn't have a whole lot of time to get through it. And I mean, we failed so many times, but I loved it.
So close.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we got so close, but I loved it. I was like, again, let's do it again, and we mixed it up, and Paul would try being the bomb guy, and Todd would, and I would. And I mean, we tried different strategies to get it done. And that's the kind of challenge that I love, is just, we're going to figure this out. Like, I still want to beat that one.
Well, and it honestly has the same problem that Overcooked does, where it's very limiting on what you can do, except I found this game way more rewarding with the progression, and way more interesting with the variations on the bomb. So like there was one bomb where there was only 2 or 3 puzzles on it, but then there was like 4 needy modules. So while trying to do a puzzle, you were trying to manage 4 like 30-second countdown timers. And it was interesting. Like it was just funny because it wasn't that hard on the surface. It was just like, oh, I need to hold this button to like add more time to it, except there's 4 buttons that you can only hold one at a time. And then you're trying to solve, some simple modules, but like it was vastly different than the rest of, or than the game normally is, where you just focus on one thing until you're done, or just bounce back and forth between 2. You're trying to do like 6 things at once. And I feel like I don't know, that it was more interesting than Overcooked was.
Yeah, and this game definitely will increase your brain's bandwidth because you're just processing so many things at once. Like, I know when they first introduced the needy modules, I really struggled because it was that stupid needy module with the knob.
The knob.
And basically, every once in a while, this knob starts flashing, and you have to read a sequence of lights, and then they tell you what position to turn the knob. And in the beginning, you just get so laser focused on solving the normal modules that you just kind of forget about the needy module. And out of nowhere, the bomb explodes, and it says you died because the knob went off. And pretty soon after a couple of tests, now you're used to that. So pretty soon, you're pretty frantically like spinning the bomb. You're looking at the back, you're looking at the front, you're checking all sides of it. And even those needy modules can be kind of sneaky. Like, one of my favorite parts of playing was when Josh had the bomb and Todd and I are telling him what to do to defuse it. And Josh has all of these modules where he has to vent gas. And generally, the module will pop up and say, vent gas, and you can type Y for yes or N for no. And you are so used to typing yes and then hitting enter, and it vents the gas, and then you're fine. Although, what did it do to you at one point, Josh?
Yeah, so there's actually, just after this was, we actually recorded a little snippet. This was our actual real gameplay going on here, and it was just a funny part of the aftermath of that specifically. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on all our social media and stuff, but definitely check it out because it'll give you an idea. But I'm going through, I have like 5 of these vent gas needy modules, and I kept blowing up, and I had no idea why. I didn't know what I was doing wrong, and I was like the 4th try, and then finally Todd is watching, and Todd, because Todd finally goes, Josh, that one said detonate, yes or no. And then it's like you said, I got so into the rhythm of just hitting yes. I was managing the timers great, but I was completely overlooking that they mixed it up on me. And instead of vent gas, yes, no, it said this one said detonate, yes, no. And so I'm just like, yes, indeed, detonate. The bomb blows up. And then Todd finally looks at the replay and he's like, Josh, that said detonate. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, oops.
So. And this game has several little tricks like that, which I love. Like, how when you're in high school, how everyone would always complain about those multiple choice tests that would try to trick you, where it'd be like the answer is A and B, but not C, or, all these weird wordings. And this game is like nothing but that. And so you're working through these puzzles trying to figure it out. Like, there's one module called Who's on First? And basically you have to read certain words to the person with the manual, and they have to look in the manual, and they have to, look up that word and then tell you what to do. But the game will throw at you, for example, it might say read, like R-E-A-D, or it might be the word read, R-E-E-D. And so when you just say, oh, the word's read, and then the person with the manual immediately just finds the first read and they tell you what to do, and it might have been the wrong read. And so that's just a hysterical part of this game.
And it was like there, and there, 2, 2, 2, and the number 2. And then the one that really got us, that we got lucky a few times, is blank, a space without anything, and then like a third one of nothing, where I'll be like, all right, it's blank. And then like Josh will think it's the actual one that's a space, but no, it's the word blank.
Literally
so then
the
you
word.
have to, you had to develop your own vocabulary on like, they are a contraction.
Yeah.
or just like the word blank, or just like saying like TOO instead of saying to. Like you slowly do that. Or even with symbols, like we started developing our own vocabulary and sticking to the same descriptions for symbols of like puzzle piece, TB, the trident, like just different things. And then we got more efficient over time, because at the beginning I was like, Josh, I don't know which one TB is. Like none of them say TB. And then he's like, no, all right, it looks like this. And then I'm like, oh, that does kind of look like that. And then from that point on, like we got more efficient.
Yeah, I love that it teaches you to communicate. Like, honestly, that's a lot of the fun, is figuring out how can we do this faster? How can we do this more efficiently? And it's solving puzzles. Like it is a kind of like a puzzle game in a sense, but it is relying on your teammates to solve it with you, which is really cool. And what I think is a neat dynamic is do you guys like prefer to defuse the bomb, or do you like being the guy reading the modules? Do you have a preference?
I like the bomb.
I love them both equally.
Yeah, see, I'm with Paul. Like that's my thing, is you would think like most people would want to be interacting with the bomb.
Just like, that wasn't an option. You said which one.
But it's like, that's the thing, is it's like I really enjoy both of them the same, so that's a neat dynamic to be like, oh, it's my turn with the bomb. Like, okay. And then you don't feel bad when it's not your turn to defuse the bomb. Like, then you're like, oh, yeah. I get to do these modules, and you wind up being really good at them. Like, dude, some of these modules are hard, man. Like, they start you off easy, but later on they get tough. They throw Morse code at you. They throw all these like complicated wire Venn diagrams and stuff at you. Like, it gets crazy. And I remember Paul like having to explain one of these to me, because he it just clicked in his brain how to make this work. And then so he takes the time to explain it to me. And after a while, it finally clicks for me. So now I like doing that module now because I understand it. But I love the progression path. I love that there is always a challenge. Like, no matter how good you are at this game, I feel like you will fail. Like, you will have funny moments. You will struggle. But then there's going to be times where everybody just clicks on the right cylinder and you just knock it out of the park. And then that feels really good too.
All right. You mentioned Morse code. Do you guys want to talk about Morse code, or do you want me to?
Go ahead, Tom.
You go ahead. I didn't realize you were a Morse code expert.
It is mandatory that you learn Morse code for this game. I was staring at this dang bomb for maybe 5 minutes. Like, we definitely lost, but I was like, ... No, all right, I'm gonna, no, all right, I'll wait for it to come back around. All right, I'll wait. All right, ... break ... No, that second one was a dash break ... and then it's like there is no recovering. And that happened on multiple games when it was just like, how do you communicate? Because it's quick. Like, you have to know what you're doing. If you don't know Morse code, you have to have a efficient way to communicate when there's dots and dashes and breaks for new words, and it's just hard.
We all agree it's the hardest module, right? The Morse code.
At least for us, yeah.
Funny story, I introduced this game to my parents and my sister and my children because I think this game can be available to all ages, to be honest with you. And we're all quarantined. I want a game that I can play with people remotely, and this game fits that perfectly. But I figured out Morse code, guys. Like breaking news.
Learned Morse code?
Breaking news. No, I have no clue how to do Morse code, but I've learned it on the bomb because I was going over it with my parents, and it was one of those moments where it just clicked. Like, I could see the dashes for the dashes. I could see the dots for the dots. I was reading them out perfectly. I'm ready for Morse code, is what I'm saying.
I don't buy it.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Quiz me right now.
The 3 dots.
You.
I mean, I have no idea if you're right or wrong.
Paul's checking.
No, 3 dots is not you. I have my manual.
He had his manual right there.
Lie.
Oh,
3 dots is S.
I was close.
Nice try.
I was. Well,
all right. I want to call out something for this game where Overcooked and Keep Talking, both have this problem where like there's only a certain amount of content. Overcooked went the direction of paid download content, and then Keep Talking opened up their gates for user-generated modules on the bomb. And if you click through the workshop in Steam, it gets crazy. Like, people think way outside of the box on new content for the bomb and like different ways to solve puzzles and new puzzles and a whole bunch of different stuff. That's all free. That's all user generated. And I think that's like a very encouraging thing for this game is like, if you get bored with the base game, which we didn't while we were playing, there's still a whole bunch of user content that you can download for free. And that is like an endless lake of like game experience.
Yes. So like I remember buying this game pretty close to right after it came out. I remember, similar to a lot of other games I've bought, I started seeing videos on Reddit where these groups would be playing and they would defuse the bomb with 0.1 seconds and they'd all yell and they'd go crazy. And I knew I had to pick up this game and play it. And I remember playing it so much with my wife and a couple of friends of ours, Jackie and Jonathan, that we had so much shorthand in this game that it actually did get a little too easy. And we played every Friday night for a couple months, and it got to the point where, you know, we wouldn't even say full sentences. It would be, you know, simple wire 4. And then someone would just say, you know, even, no, cut the fourth. And you would get so quick at it, and it became easy that we just quit, and we just said we would love nothing more than if they came out with a brand new manual with different instructions, and we would totally play another, 20 hours. And that's exactly what you get with the mods. The mods weren't around the first go-around when I played, but now there's just endless mods. You can install 40 of them if you want, and they just have you print out additional pages for your manual, and you could probably squeeze, dozens upon dozens of hours out of this game for no additional price.
There's a mod for VR where instead of handling a bomb, you're inside an elevator and you have to solve the modules on the walls to be let out of the elevator.
That's pretty cool. I know they make it where you can manipulate the bomb in VR on this as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Paul kind of mentioned it. I haven't played this game that much, but I do feel like there are a lot of modules. I think there's something like probably 20 modules, and then there's like 5 needy modules or some very close to that anyway. So I feel like it would take a while to get to the point where this game is not a challenge at that point. I feel like this game has a lot more longevity to it, regardless of using mods or not, than Overcooked does. Like, I found myself bored with Overcooked very, very quickly, whereas like I actually want to play this game more.
Right. And I think it's interesting, like Paul was talking about, the progression he had was the communication with those people. As soon as he started playing the game with other people, he's kind of back at level 1.
Yeah.
You have to develop a communication system with a new set of people, and even just introducing 1 or 2 people to that group, like it's going to take that work to like slowly build up that shorthand and all of that.
Well, and to be honest, when we picked this game back up, I thought it would be like riding a bike. I was like, oh yeah, print the manual. This is going to be so easy. But I hadn't played in like 2 years, and it really was like playing this game for the first time. Like, I remembered the modules in a general sense, but you actually had to read through all the rules, find out what to do. It was a ton of fun. I mean, if you just let enough time go by, you can just pick it back up. It's like playing it for the first time.
This game's stressful. I mean, I know we're kind of higher on this game, but this game stresses me out too, man. Like, they do a good job. The bomb beeps, like there's a countdown timer and the bomb constantly beeps at you. It turns the lights out on you at random times. You have an alarm clock that's next to the bomb that will start just blaring an alarm to where it's like you can try to ignore the alarm, but you're really better off like putting the bomb down, picking up the alarm clock and turning it off, so you're not just hearing that sound nonstop. If you're the module person and you need to ask a question to the bomb diffuser, but he's right in the middle of solving something else, it's really hard to not just talk over the other people that are communicating, because you're like, dude, I just need an answer. I need to know what color the button is. Just, Paul, what color's the button? And Paul's right in the middle. He's like, wait, Josh, shut up. I can't hear what Todd just said. And it's like, it gets stressful, but not in a way that makes me want to fight with somebody. Like, not the way that like Overcooked did, where I just want to throw food at you now. Like, this is like, okay, like, I blew up, but let's figure out, like, what could we do better? Like, how can we be faster at this? Or, hey, next time, let me ask you what color the button is before you go and, dive into that one or something like that. So it's a stressful game, but it's like a fun stress to where you want to overcome it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, we also kind of settled into our individual roles. It was very informal. We didn't really decide it, but Todd just kind of became the symbols guy. And anytime we had symbols...
Throw a symbol at me, I got it.
Yeah, but if you had the bomb, we kind of learned how to delegate, right? So instead of being like, well, I have simple wires, who's going to take it? We would say, all right, Todd, I have symbols for you. Josh, I have complex wires. Josh, the first one is blue with a star. Todd, my symbols are, A, B, C, and D. And it was interesting, and I felt like we kind of learned what areas we were quick and good at, and then we just kept trying to get faster, having that progression. Because in Overcooked, you beat a level, and if you 3-star it, there's really no reason to ever go back to it. But in Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes, there's always another bomb that you can defuse. And you can keep low, because we were going through the campaign mode, if you will, but you can also create your own custom bombs. And you can just keep lowering that timer, try to knock it out quicker, try to set new records. And I felt like it just has a lot more continuing content that I personally loved. I love playing this game. I thought it was so much fun. I do agree with Josh. You can play with almost anyone.
Yeah. Paul, do you want to go through the community comments?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. I grabbed 4 reviews here, and I think that you'll see there's a little bit of overlap in how people feel about this with Overcooked. So first review here is a positive one. My wife and I decided to purchase this game as a fun communication exercise. 10 minutes into the game, she threw the instructions at me and flipped me the bird. Would definitely play again.
That's funny.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Somebody got blown up multiple times there.
Yep. Second review here is a negative review, and this person had 0.4 hours on record. And they posted, "You must have a friend to be able to play the game. I have none. Rip."
Oh, we'll be your friend. Unless you're really bad at this game.
That is true, though. You literally cannot play this game one person.
No.
And there's no matchmaking. So you have to have at least one friend who's willing to play with you.
Very true.
There has to be a Reddit or a Discord group.
There probably is. Yeah. All right, third review here, positive. This gets to what Todd had mentioned a little bit before. It's some running dialogue back and forth. The display says nothing. Nothing or nothing. It's blank. Blank. Okay, great. What's on the middle right button? No. Middle right. No. What do you mean no? I have the manual. Boom. That's exactly what the game is like. And then my personal favorite review is this last one. It's a positive review. Dash space dash what? Dash dash what? Best co-op game, 10 out of 10.
Man, what does that spell out?
Yeah, that's why I had to make the joke at the top of the show. The Morse code, it was so funny because the first round I got Morse code and I was trying to describe it to you guys and I really struggled. And then I'm guessing when I handed it to you, Todd, the next time you had Morse code, you probably thought, oh, this is not going to be that tough. And it's just so much harder than you think it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just confusing. I don't know. I mean, Josh gets it, so.
I got it, guys.
Can't be that hard.
I got it.
All right. So what percentage do you guys think this has on Steam? My guess was 93%. I think it's way up
I think it's going to... I hate to do this, but 95.
Oh, I was going to just outbid you, but man, that's getting up there.
Go 94, Josh.
96. 96.
Oh.
98%.
Yes!
Dang.
Nobody
Wow.
dislikes this game. I think
It's
if you have
'cause
this
it's
game, you
awesome.
like it.
It's
Well,
an
that
awesome
one guy
game.
who didn't have a friend.
Yeah.
There's always that one. Yeah.
Rip.
No, that's a really high. I would never have gone 96 if I wasn't trying to just outbid Todd by one.
That's
But,
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a super fun game though. It's a game that like I said, I'm playing it with my parents. I'm playing it with my kids. I play it with you guys. Now, I mean, we are better than the other groups. But it's just you can play this. This is a game that would be good for
Shots fired.
I know, right?
Yeah,
they're gonna
I
listen.
needed
They're gonna
that,
listen to
Josh.
this show, and
Thanks.
then I'm gonna be in trouble. So
They're going to throw the instructions at you and flip you the bird.
Yeah. So this is a game that really just fits. I wanted to play it with my kids because I think it's good problem solving for them. I think it's good communication. I love playing it with you guys because it's a lot of fun, and we are all good at the game. I'm great at Morse code now, so But
All right,
no,
Josh.
it just fits a lot.
As the winner,
Ooh.
go first.
Well, hey there, listeners. As your reigning champion, I am going to marry this game. I'm marrying it, man. I think this is a long-term game. Like Paul said, he played it 2 years ago. He came back to it after a hiatus, and he loves it all over again. So that tells me that's a long-term relationship right there. I think you can play it with different groups of people, and it will be new all over again. I think it's a great game, man. I want to marry it.
I was going to say in the original version, I'd probably say Make Love, but because of the mods available, I'm right there with Josh. It's Marry. It's incredibly fun. It's a great party game. You can play it with just your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend. You can play with your kids. It's very adaptable. I'm gonna marry it.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna marry it as well.
Ooh.
I have the instruction manual on my desk. Like, if you guys want to play, just hit me up.
I'm gonna have to print a new manual soon. Mine's getting covered in scribbles. You guys can see right there.
You don't
I don't
write
scribble.
on the manual.
I don't scribble on. You scribble on your manual, Paul?
Oh,
I
my
had scratch
goodness.
paper. My scratch paper got used up. So what am I gonna do? I have to start writing on the manual.
I do not
No,
scribble
you
on
get
my
a
manual.
second piece of scratch
That is
paper.
terrible. No respect at all for the bomb manual.
Yep.
Well, that's consensual marriage right there.
Yeah,
that's
just-
really the best kind of marriage, really. But
Our controversial
Most?
statement of the night. The best kinds of marriage are consensual.
Let's go over, do we think these games are worth the price? So, Overcooked, right now on Steam, is $25. And then Keep Talking is $7.50, but I think it's 50% off currently, but it goes on sale a lot.
I've seen both of these games go on sale a lot. And you know what? I think they're both worth it. And one of the reasons why is that not everybody has to buy the game. Steam allows you to play remotely together. Only one person has to buy it. They host the session. Everyone else can join remotely over Steam, where everyone gets to look at the screen and they can play together. I think that's a steal either way. Even $25 for Overcooked, you can get 4 people to squeeze 20 hours of entertainment out of that. I think they're both worth it.
Yeah, I can go with that. I think remote play from Steam changes the game on a lot of this because it basically sets it up so the other person who's remoting in is like a controller that you just plugged into your computer. Like, it worked pretty well for us. That's how we played Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes for a while until Josh and I were just like, oh, let's buy this game. Like, we enjoy it enough.
I'm going to say no to Overcooked 2. I just don't enjoy it, man. It's a very simple game. I do not think it's worth $25, like, at all. Like, remote play, remote play is very cool technology, but I can't I have a hard time basing a game on can other people play it for free because somebody has to buy it. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like $25 is a good value for that game. Like I know I'm biased, but
I don't have a problem with the $25 for the initial game. The point that they lose me is they have like 5 or 6 DLCs and they're all $5. I think you can buy a season pass and get like a little bit of a discount, but it's just like you have to pay so much if you want to get all the content, and you like if you run out of levels, then you're going to be like, oh, I want to get like the winter stuff or the Halloween stuff just because it'll be new and interesting and different levels, and you know the levels is where the game shines. And then it's just like $5 here, another $5, another $5, and then it's like, I don't know, then it starts getting close to $60, and it just seems like it keeps on inching its way there.
yeah, the day you guys see me buy an Overcooked 2 season pass, call the cops, because I've been abducted by aliens at that point. Never going to happen. I don't feel like it's worth $25. I mean, $10, would you get $10 worth of entertainment out of it? Probably. But I feel like there's probably other games out there that are worth $10. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. Honestly, I would pay a lot more for that game. So I feel like even at its normal price of $15, you are going to get a lot of fun out of it. The manuals are free to print. So something that we should have mentioned maybe is that you can go to the website and print out the bomb defusal manuals. And so you're paying for the ability to manipulate and use the bomb part of it, because that's really the only graphical interface. And so if you had friends that didn't care about the bomb at all, like you could buy this game and play it with 5 other people for just the one purchase, you know, and that's it. And I feel like that is well worth the money. Even at full price $15, I would pay $30 for this game without the mods, just because I think it's that fun.
Yeah. Or one person can buy it and then remote play in, and like we did. And then everyone can, you know, have their turn at using the bomb.
Right.
You just need that one sugar daddy to go buy
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's true.
Everyone has that one friend.
Wait, I don't
all right.
have that friend. Do you guys have
that
sugar
means-
daddies?
That's you.
That means
Oh, no.
All right, it's time. Let's go to the leaderboard and see where this game stacks up. Let's do Overcooked first. I'll read the bottom few. At last, we have Sea of Thieves. All right, guys, above or below Sea of Thieves?
Todd has a pretty good idea where this game's going to fall. I vote
Okay,
below.
bottom 3.
Wait.
GTFO, Halo, Sea of Thieves. If you guys put this above
It's above Halo.
No,
oh, get out of here.
I almost want to put it above Halo just to mess with Todd. Like, honestly, to do that would be so great.
I'm going to take my
But I
podcast and go
can't.
home.
I can't do it, man. I really want to troll Todd hard here, but I can't. I think it's below Sea of Thieves for me.
Dead last for you, huh?
Yeah, I
would rather play Sea of Thieves than Overcooked.
Yeah, I would too.
Like,
I would put Overcooked above Halo and Sea of Thieves, but I understand what you guys are saying.
what?
Yeah.
No.
Paul does like to cook, man. It is like a cooking game. I mean, that is right up his alley. So
Maybe that's
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It hits a chord with him, I'm sure. So, all right. So, does that mean
All right, we
majority
need to resolve
rules?
this.
I'm not going to fight too much if you want to put it dead last, but to me, Sea of Thieves is still dead last. Sea of Thieves is an abomination of a game.
Oh,
No way.
I mean, sure, it's last, but an abomination.
It's a cybercrime.
I don't.
I'm fine putting it right above Sea of Thieves.
I
underneath Halo.
don't know that I am, man. I don't. It's just. I'd rather play Sea of Thieves. Like, the leaderboard is like, which game would you rather play? I mean, that's not the only criteria.
Isn't Sea of Thieves like $40 though? I'd rather pay $25 for Overcooked than
Oh,
$40
I'd much
for
rather
Sea
pay
of
40
Thieves.
for Sea of Thieves. Todd, you got to be the Todd. We'll let you be the tiebreaker. He's
All right,
putting
Paul
it.
said I can put it
I'm
last.
watching.
All right.
I'm watching the
All
dock as the cursor goes down below Sea of Thieves. There it
Yay,
is.
That's the right choice.
Womp, womp.
Hey, and honestly,
all right, guys.
if people think like I would like, we'd love to hear what people think about the leaderboard. Like, if you guys are like, I can't believe it, there's no way. Like, tell us what you think. Honestly, like that's why we have ways for you guys to communicate with us. Like, I want to hear what people think about the leaderboard.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and now for Keep Talking.
This is when you guys push RimWorld out of the top 5, aren't you?
I was gonna put it above RimWorld. I was. It's funny.
Yeah.
Paul didn't like. Paul knew.
I immediately zeroed in on that. Yeah.
All right, so let me read. Rocket League is 2, Rust 3, Warzone 4, and RimWorld 5. I was going to put this at 5, too. Josh and I are on the same page.
I was going to say, we really are right now. It's kind of scary. Poor Paul.
Oh, wow. Todd's
don't-
already putting it in the dock.
Dude, it's...
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. It's in. Boom. All right, Paul, what do you think? Where do you want this to go?
Yeah, if you want to put it above RimWorld, that's fine. Same reason as when we, talked previously. RimWorld's not explicitly multiplayer. If we're just looking from a multiplayer standpoint, I think Keep Talking is above RimWorld, but I'd still put it below Rust and Warzone.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I agree. There are they're just such different games, but in a ranking, I mean, Warzone is just a more complete game. I can't see it being above Warzone. But I definitely have it above RimWorld for a game that I want to play with other people too. So I think that's the perfect spot for it.
Yeah, and we have a full, top 10.
Oh, we've
right
got
now.
a top 10.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I mean, not top 10, just 10.
Yeah, it's...
Really?
Well, I guess we did just put Overcooked at the bottom. So
It's last and in our top 10. All right, well, that wraps up the leaderboard segment for our show today. If you want to view all of our rankings, you can find them on our site at multiplayerpodcast.com. It was fun hanging out this week. If you're interested in more multiplayer podcast content, don't forget to subscribe to the Multiplayer Podcast on your podcasting app for new episodes. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and want to help the show, leave us a 5-star review. We are on Twitter and Instagram. Just search for Multiplayer Podcasts. So that wraps up the show for this week, and next week we'll be covering the video game The Cycle. It's a first-person shooter that is a competitive quest shooter. Honestly, we haven't played anything like it before, so we're very interested to see how this game turns out. It's a PvEVP. A little bit of PvP and a little bit of PvE and a whole lot of fun. So we'll see you guys next week.
see you, everybody.
Until next time.
Was that 2 songs in one?
That
right
was definitely 2 in 1.
DJ Todd over here. DJ Todd.